The good thing about the ARC assistant is the way that it includes the child. The number of face-to-face hours that a child has in the early years directly correlates to their outcomes. The more of that face-to-face stuff you have, the better the outcomes are. If you've got the child facing you and you're making your morning smoothies, collectively that 15 minutes every morning adds up to a lot of extra face-to-face time. You know, the ARC assistant allows them to be included. It's that cumulative hours of face-to-face interaction in the early years that the ARC assistant provides is why I'm advocating for it. The ARC assistant can be used anywhere where you want the child standing alongside you and working with you where there's a bench. So I can use that in the work shed, in the garage. You can use that around, preparing the barbecue, in the laundry. I mean, the obvious place that people use it is in the kitchen, because the ARC assistant gets so much use in the kitchen, because just how many times a day are you at the bench preparing snacks and carrots and food for kids? So all of that time, the child can be included. So it's a gem in the kitchen, but yeah, it's not restricted to being used in the kitchen. I mean, our grandparents might have done it with a crate. It's just that there's all the safety issues of falling off, and yeah, it is as simple as that. It is about getting the child up to your level, but the ARC assistant means that you can do that in an entirely safe way that's not going to topple over, that is designed around child development and child safety. What I like about the ARC assistant is that it's furniture designed from the child's perspective. It improves the overall behaviour of the child too, because they're included. Children are often misbehaving because they're not included. So when they're included, there's more connectivity, there's just more cooperation. And really, the more language you can use in the early years, the better their overall brain development is. Language and cognitive development, they're so closely aligned. You can predict one based on the other. So we can predict a lot of your cognitive outcomes based on the complexity of your language in those early years. It's like the brain is data gathering to see what sort of brain it needs for the rest of your life. That's what sort of happens in the first 1,000 days. You're, like I say, gathering data to see what type of brain you need for the rest of your life. And to make the story really short, the more language you have, the more complex data, the more complex a brain you build. So language is really the central, language and relationship are really the central component of what's happening in human development in the first 1,000 days. The ARC assistant can be used from any age that the child is able to stand quite freely by themselves for, significant periods of time. After that, it can always be used, because that's the only skill they need really, is to be able to stand up in it. So rather than an age, think more, my child can stand comfortably for a period of a minute or so, then I think they're probably fine. The design features about the ARC Assistant Learning Tower that I like, the fact that it's so child-centred. And I like the fact that it's nice and solid on the ground, I have to say. When my granddaughter's standing there using it, I'm not even worried it's going to tip over. But yeah, you realise just how solidly on the ground it is. That thing ain't moving, so I like that part, just in terms of I can relax about that. I like the fact that it's been put through so many rigorous safety features, even well beyond what the standards are supposed to be, that it's been compared to lots of different international standards, and that's been incorporated into the design. Like the fact that the walls are nice and solid on the side, so that if the baby drops down, if they're playing peekaboo or something, there's no risk of them popping their bum through and hurting their back. It's nice solid walls. All of those things have been considered. So it is a very child-centred piece of furniture. So that's what I like about the design. Everybody should be designing children's, furniture and equipment with that same thing at the very core, that what is good for the child. The overall impression I'm left with about the ARC Assistant Learning Tower is I wish I'd had it when my kids were little, all the time I was pushing them away to say, hold on, I'm just getting the toast made. And I see with my grandchildren that they're included in all of those things. So it just makes for a much more pleasant environment. So yeah, that would be my only criticism. I didn't have one until I was a grandparent.